Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to take a closer look at Nvidia and a lot of AI news happening all over the big tech space. I mean, we have Tesla that just reported earnings. We also have Meta that just announced some pretty cool AI products. Texas Instrument also reported earnings. And we also do have some reports of Apple creating their own data center chip. Let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so quick price action. We can see that Nvidia definitely had a great day today. The stock was up roughly 3.6%. More importantly, after hours, the stock is up over 1.7%. I do believe the after hours results are thanks to two companies. The first company is going to be Tesla. We're going to take a closer look at Tesla's earnings in a bit, but Tesla is up roughly 13%. And for those that see Tesla like me as an AI company, they did announce a lot of cool AI updates, which obviously bodes well for a company like Nvidia. Then we also had Texas Instrument that reported earnings, and that's where we're probably going to start off. We'll save off Tesla for last, and we're going to take a closer look at some of the other updates we're seeing. But Texas Instrument, a big semiconductor company, did report earnings. The stock is up roughly 7.7% on great reports of beating guidance for the upcoming quarter, thanks to kind of consumer goods picking back up. So I don't think Texas really shared too much information about the data center market in all, but just because it is a semiconductor space, I do believe it can help the overall sector and the semiconductor market see a nice green day. Now, moving on to another company we're going to take a closer look at is Meta Platforms. So Meta, the creators of Facebook, the creators of Instagram, they are a big AI company. If you've been following this channel, you know that we consider Meta another top AI play. So on April 23rd of 2024, today, Meta did announce their an update to their Ray-Ban smart glasses. And for those that are not familiar, Meta Platforms has partnered up with Ray-Bans to create some pretty cool smart glasses that you can do random things. But if you look at it, now they're rolling Meta AI with vision, so you can ask your glasses about what you're seeing and get helpful information completely hand-free. So while maybe this might not be necessarily completely bullish for Nvidia directly, indirectly, how I see this is, hey, look, big companies, big tech players are starting to add AI to all consumer goods. We're getting it on their phones. Now we're getting it on smart glasses. What's the next product? So now we're going to continue to, in my opinion, to see this evolvement of AI entering different types of consumer technology. And in the widespread of things, if we are seeing an increase in AI technology, you're going to need more GPUs for training, more GPUs for inferencing. You're going to need more software solutions, more infrastructure. And NVIDIA is definitely the top player here. So if the overall market is boosting, and this, in my opinion, gives that great it just shows evidence that we're moving in that direction right now. I believe it bodes well for Nvidia in the overall terms of things, and any type of semiconductor company that deals in the AI space. Obviously, Meta creates their own chips as well to help with their AI solutions, their AI inferencing, and AI training. That's why I mentioned that this might not be necessarily directly, but we know that Meta is also a huge customer of Nvidia when it comes to H100s, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be a huge customer of the B200 and the Grace Blackwell 200 as well. Before we go any further, we are now on the road to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you all for the crazy support. So if you haven't and are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support the channel a little bit more, make sure to check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode. Now, talking about chip productions, there are some rumors, and these are just rumors right here. I could see this happening, but maybe not as quickly as many anticipate here. So Apple is rumored to be developing their own custom silicon for AI servers. New chips set to use TSMC's 3 nanometer process and will enter mass production in 2025. So I think very similar to what we're seeing all around, where Meta, Microsoft, all these big companies are creating their own AI chip that is going to be used for a certain workload is going to continue. And I think Apple can definitely do that. They've created some amazing chips for their phones, for their laptops. So I don't think it's impossible for Apple to enter this AI chip. At the end of the day, this is not necessarily going to eliminate NVIDIA's H100 GPUs or their other kind of AI chips at all. I think it's just going to kind of help offset or optimize some of their margins a bit when it comes to the research and development here. So I wouldn't be necessarily worried. In my opinion, this kind of tells me that, hey, look, Apple is actually pushing really good into the AI market right now. If they are creating their own AI chips, but at the end of the day, they need GPUs. They need NVIDIA's H100. So it tells me that, hey, look, maybe Apple might be a nice big customer of NVIDIA's upcoming AI chips in general. Now, another type of news we are getting is we are getting reports that China is certain companies and institutions are still acquiring NVIDIA's AI GPUs that were restricted in China. So this is something we've actually talked about, I think, on Friday or Saturday during that big sell-off of Supermicro. That was probably one of the fears occurring with that stock. But during this report, it does mention that the servers were purchased from major vendors such as Dell, Gigabyte, and Supermicro, rising concerns about potential sanctions evasions. So I don't think stuff like this could trickle down to Nvidia right now. It seems like it's going to be more of the major vendors right now. And at the same time, just because it's that brand doesn't mean that brand necessarily sold to them. Smuggling has been a thing since people couldn't get what they wanted. So obviously with restrictions, you're going to see an increase of people smuggling certain goods. Those certain goods right now seems to be AI chips. So something to keep in mind now and see where we're going. Obviously, some might be worried that, hey, what if the company I'm invested in has kind of broke regulations? I think right now there's enough AI demand happening all over the world that there's no real reason for you to break regulations unless you're really, really money hungry. But most companies probably are. So something to keep in mind out. I personally don't own any of those system makers. So necessarily, I'm not worried. But let me know in the comments below if you find this as a big red flag for maybe companies like Supermicro or some of those other system makers in general. Now, the final thing I want to take a closer look at is Tesla's earnings. So I do have some screenshots of the transcripts of some of my favorite portions. And obviously, I'm mainly going to be looking at the AI workloads for Tesla and nothing else, right? So we saw the stock was up a nice amount on the day after reporting earnings. So we continue, they mentioned that they continue to expand their AI training capacity in quarter one, more than doubling their training compute sequentially. So obviously that bodes well for Nvidia because Nvidia is a huge provider of Tesla's training compute platform. Tesla owns a lot of H100s. So if they are increasing this means that, hey, look, they're going to continue to grow Nvidia, to buy and purchase Nvidia chips, especially since right now we did see that Tesla just released their version 12, which is pure AI based self driving. I actually bought a Tesla about 4 weeks ago and have been trying FSD for I think the past 2 to 3 weeks, and it is a game changer. I definitely recommend if you don't have a Tesla and haven't tried it out to try it out and see how amazing it is because it is improving at a rapid pace. So obviously, I mean, if Tesla is I think Tesla in just the past few months has made such big changes in the AI market and such big improvements as we can see with FSD version 12. So very similar to kind of that news that we saw with Meta, I think for Tesla it's a little bit of both direct and indirect growth for Nvidia. Direct growth because we do know, like I mentioned, Tesla is a big provider, a big buyer of H100s, very similar to Meta. The second thing, indirect, it does showcase that the overall market, again, it gives me that evidence that the overall AI market is here to stay. It's growing at some crazy levels, and we're going to need some crazy computational power, not just for Tesla, but for any competition in this kind of autonomy automotive market world, right? So that's the first thing. Now, obviously, they talk a little bit more about their actual H100s. They say that right now they have installed and commissioned around 35,000 H100 computers or GPUs. And what's more importantly is they believe by the end of this year, they'll probably have roughly 85,000 working just for training, just for training. So again, if Tesla sees that they need this much GPUs just for training, imagine any other company that's really focusing in the AI space. How much are they building up on GPUs right now? So this continues to showcase that look, there's a nice demand for AI chips in general, and Nvidia continues to dominate in that space. Finally, they talk a lot about Optimus Prime, and they believe that Optimus Prime will be one of the biggest markets for Tesla in general. And again, I think this is more of an indirect showcasing that, hey, look, there is evidence right now we can see from Tesla that the robotics AI humanoid market is something to keep an eye out. And we know that NVIDIA believes that this market is also a huge growth opportunity. So we're seeing a lot of startups, a lot of companies focus on humanoid robotics. So again, it kind of showcases more evidence that, hey, look, AI space is here to stay. We're going to see more growth for the AI chips because they're going to need it for training capacity of things like Optimus and other humanoid robots by other companies. So I think that's all I have for Tesla's kind of AI market talk. And again, I believe right now we are continuing to see evidence like we saw from Meta platforms and here from Tesla that the AI space is really moving in the direction of the consumer. And when you have heavy consumer products, that's heavy volumes, and you're going to need to train them one way or another. And one of the best ways to do it is through NVIDIA's chips. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We are going to be covering earnings and what they're saying in the AI market. So make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. As tomorrow, I do believe we do have some Meta platforms will be reporting earnings, and obviously they are big in the AI space. So we'll be learning more about that and the overall demand happening here in the AI market. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.